So anyway, what happened is I woke up a few days ago and I could not feel my feet or my legs, and it hurt. A tingling sensation. It was painful. I went to the ER, and two ER doctors came up to examine my feet, and they just barely touched one of my toes, and I was like, "Oh!" They were like, "That bad, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." So they went up through all my other pinky toes and then down my feet, and I was just like, "Oh God!" So they put an IV in me. And I said, "Listen, I don't like opioids, okay? Give me something else if you're going to give me something for pain." They said, "Well, what about Neurontin?" I said, yeah, Neurontin works for me, that's fine. I said, "I'm allergic to anything in the psyllin and mycin family. Morphine works for me, but anyway, yeah, Narcan would be great." And they were like, "Well, where'd all this come from?" I said, "Well, in my last marriage, my second ex-wife slammed into one of those big brick mailboxes while she was digging for a lighter in her pocket, and it nearly killed me. It caused me to have 2 slipped discs in my neck, and the pain went down all the way to my spine." So they said, "Okay, well, we're going to give you an MRI." You know, where they put you in the big tube that circles around, you know, and makes all those noises. They did that for like 20 minutes and put goggles over my eyes so I wouldn't have to see the bright lights coming from the MRI machine. And then they were like, "Okay, we're sending you up to room 552 on the 5th floor." I said, "Okay." And they sent me up there, you know, got me settled in, tucked me into bed, and gave me some food, and they were like, "Here, we're going to administer this drug, this drug, this drug, and this drug." And I met 2 more doctors. I met 5 doctors while all this is going on. I thought I was going to have my feet and legs amputated. But that's what it is. It's nerve damage from a car accident I got into that twisted the nerves in my neck. And over the years, it spread all the way down my spine into my feet and legs. And I said, "Is this treatable?" They're like, "Yeah, it's treatable." So I was in there for several days, and they were administering all kinds of medicines to me. And eventually I said, "You know what? I can feel my toes again, and my legs don't hurt." I said, "Can I walk around?" And they're like, "Yeah, come on, we'll take you for a walk around, you know, the floor and see how you do." I said, "Okay." And I did pretty good walking, you know. And after a while they were like, "Okay, we're going to discharge you, but you have to go to your PCP." And I think they said I'm going to have to go to a neurologist thing. But anyway, guys, I have to walk with a cane now, so I don't limp around and fall down. Alright? I think they wanted to keep me longer, but I was like, "No, I'm ready to go home, you know. I'm not signing out AMA." They said, "Okay, that's fine." So the doctor came in and she gave me a bunch of instructions and a bunch of prescriptions that were called in. And she was like, "Okay, You have to read this. Okay, this is important so that you don't backtrack and regress. So it's like, okay, they gave me gabapentin, of course, and folic acid, and you guys know my name is B. They said your electrolytes are down, so we want you to start taking vitamin B. So, but you have to follow the instructions and start getting more exercise. I said, can I go play my guitar now and talk to my friends? They said, yeah, we're discharging you. Sign right here. So I signed the paper. So anyway, I'm home from the hospital. I'm 48 years old. I have to use a cane now and take a bunch of medicine and go see my PCP. And then they got on to me about my drinking. I said, listen, I cut way back. I drink like 1 beer a day. All right? Sometimes half a beer. They're like, okay, you know, some alcohol can be good, you know, because it kills off bacteria and stuff in your system. It's like, yeah, okay. So I was like, I don't want any painkillers because I use cannabis. And they're like, that's fine. That's fine. So I went by Tennessee Hemp Consultants, and I said, hey guys. They're like, hey Brian. I said, I just got out of the hospital. They were like, oh B. I was like, yeah. They were like, well, here. Take silver, haze, indica hybrid, okay, and take silver, haze, indica hybrid, okay, that'll be your painkiller and it'll get things going. I said, well, I still got this honey guava. They said, yeah, it's sativa. I said, yeah, it's going to mix good with that. So I guess I'll mix and match these up and smoke a bowl. And it was scary. I thought I was turning into a zombie or a vampire there for a second. I was like, why is my body dying? Nope, it's just nerve damage from car accidents. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to take any more of those meds tonight because they gave them to me right before I left the hospital. So, anyway, I couldn't help it. After that whole ordeal, I went and bought me 1 beer, and I've drank half of it, and I don't want it anymore. I'm going to sit here and play my guitar, and I told the girls, the nurses up there, I said, I'm going to write you a song, a pretty song. I'm going to have to come up with some good lyrics. They're really nice. Oh. Mm-hmm. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to come up with this. I don't like hospitals. They freak me out. I've seen too many of my friends and family die in them. So they kept asking me, why are you scared of hospitals? And I told them why, and they said, well, we're just people too. And I was like, good point, you know. So I'm out of the hospital. And my ex keeps trying to tell me that she loves me and still wants to be with me. And I'm like, you told me that last time and then you ran away, little runaway girl. I don't know. Run, little runaway. If you don't want me, I'll find someone else. Okay.